All right, welcome back to the Fit 40 podcast, where we simplify exercise and nutrition for busy parents 40 plus so they can improve their health and feel amazing. I'm your host, Brian Fitzsimmons, and today we're going to be talking about the best on the go healthy snacks. Now, this comes off of yesterday. I was testing out some Genius shots, which honestly are like best thing ever. This is not a paid advertisement. I am at the point now where I just tell everybody the stuff that I'm using, and I just want you to know so you are able to go buy it. I get nothing from it, but I'm like, okay, the Genius shot is awesome. So I want to list out a bunch of other things that could be really good on the go healthy snacks, since a lot of clients have issues when it comes to being on the road, traveling, things like that. So I fielded this question many a time. So I'm going to help you guys out as well. Now, before we dive in, make sure you are following or you are subscribed wherever you're watching or listening, so that way you don't miss another episode. Now, let's start with the big ones, the ones that everybody thinks of, which is protein stuff. All right. Because protein is one of those things, one of those nutrients that a lot of people just need more of. They have trouble getting it at certain times of the day, getting enough overall throughout the day. So we're going to start with that. And we're going to start with protein shakes. Like, that is one of the quickest, easiest ways to get protein on the go. You can put it in your cup holder and you can just sip on it as you are driving. Now, the Genius shot, I would put this in there as well, because it basically is a whey protein shot, but it's a lot smaller. It's 3 ounces, I think. So it's TSA compliant for people that are traveling, like taking an airline. So that's always a good thing to have ready to go. And anybody who's hearing me say this, like, what is this thing? What is this thing? I'll put the link in the description for you. And then along with that, there's also the basic protein powders like whey, casein, plant based protein powders. But if you're going plant based, I would say get a blend, because if you get a singular source like just pea protein or just brown rice protein or just like a single ingredient, it leaves a lot to be desired. You want a nice complex when it comes to plant proteins. Egg yolk, meat based, there's a million different ones. So if you have some sort of an allergy or anything like that, always feel free to try different ones. There's plenty out there. I know my brother in particular can't do any dairy based stuff, so he was doing the meat based. I think it was called Carnivore, actually, the brand, and he was doing that for years, and he had no problem with it because he's like, hey, it checks a box and it does the job for me. So we just ran with it. Yeah. And then along with that, if you want to level it up and make it so that it's a complete meal replacement, try something like a super shake. Now, this actually, I was reminded of this yesterday because somebody who is a client I was on a call with had this like Fab 4 drink that they used to do, which I guess used to be a thing back in the day, the Fab 4. And it's basically protein, healthy fat, like a vegetable or a fruit or something like that. And that's basically what a super shake is. It's a template where it's like, okay, pick your liquid. Now that could be water, it could be milk, it could be, say, Fairlife milk, where it's like double or triple the protein of regular milk before you even add the protein powder. And then you pick a fruit, and then you pick a vegetable. You could do both if you want. Pick one that doesn't interfere with the taste. I'm pretty sure like spinach and kale don't do so bad when it comes to taste wise, but don't take my word for it, because I've never personally blended this up and tested that out. But I have done fruit, and I can tell you it's a big help as far as taste, especially if you're going with like a base flavor like a vanilla or a chocolate, and you don't go crazy with the other flavors, then that's a really good way to go about it. Vanilla, you can't really go wrong. So you take the fruit, the veggie, the protein powder, the liquid, and then you add in like toppers or healthy fats, where you could throw in some nuts. You could throw in anything really. Like if you like sweet stuff and you want a little bit of a treat in the morning, then little chocolate chips, little chocolate shavings, it's okay as long as it's just a little bit, not a huge deal. And then another cool trick that I actually used to see a lot of clients back at the gym I used to work at when we would sell the greens and the protein, is they would take the espresso flavor. So if you have the ability to get espresso flavor protein wherever you get yours, mixing it in with coffee, because if you're able to do it with your morning coffee, it honestly could be one of those things that feels so easy. It's just, okay, this is how I prepare my coffee. And if you like a little bit thicker and you want to get away from the creamer, then that could potentially help. and it could give you that little bit of a different flavor. And if you want, you could even, instead of a creamer, take the protein powder, mix it with, say, that Fairlife milk, for example, and shake it up and use that as your creamer, or just like mix it all together and it's like a coffee protein shake. That is also an option as well. I know some people hearing this are like, ugh, you sure about that? I'm just going with what the people tell me. Like, people swear by it, they rave about it. So worth a shot if you're a coffee drinker. Next, when it comes to protein things, is protein bars. So when it comes to protein bars, I always tell people, and this is like one of those tips that I teach the Kickstarters when they first begin, is the zero rule. Now, for anybody who's not familiar with the zero rule, basically, to understand if something is a true lean protein source, one of the simplest ways to know is whatever the grams of protein are, just add a zero next to it. All right. So let's say it is 10 grams of protein, then add a zero. 10 with that extra zero means that it's 100. It should be 100 calories or less. Now, this is going to weed out a lot of protein bars because most of them are glorified candy bars. So use this tip and you will notice that there are only a few actually quality ones on the market. Now, I'm a big fan of Bear Bells, and those are just outside of the zero tip. So they have 20 grams of protein, but they're 230 calories. So technically it wouldn't fit that rule, but it also has 3 grams of fiber in there. So that's like a little loophole. It's like if you're getting a little bit of fiber in there as well, then that's a huge bonus, especially if the texture is not impacted, like Quest bars, for example. If they're not like a brick because of all the fiber in there, okay, then bonus points for that. So I'll give up 30 calories there for a little hit of fiber to add to the daily total. And then on top of that, another good one that does follow this rule is Legendary products like the pastries. I know they have like a cinnamon bun, and those can be really good just on the go. You're eating it as you're driving, and it's very easy. I probably do that, I don't know, pretty much every time that I am going on a flight or something like that, or a long trip. Another thing when it comes to, like, if you're in the convenience store or anything like that where it's a grab and go, fruit. You could just get a fruit cup and make sure that you eat it before you get out of your car or wherever you're at. So that way, you know, hey, this is fruit. It's going to go bad. So there's a little bit of a time incentive there to actually eat it. And you can go with the cup, or you could even go with, say, an apple or a banana because they're handheld and they're easy. So you could go with that as well. Then we have veggies and dip, old tried and true. Can't go wrong. Just make sure that your dip is not super duper calorie dense. Like, try and keep the dips to around 100 calories or less, which is the next tip for my final option, which is granola and nuts. Again, keep it to like 100 calorie mark if you're using it as a snack, because you don't want to drive those calories super high on fats and carbohydrates if you're having trouble getting protein, which most people do. So lean into the protein stuff. Make sure that we get those basics as far as color is concerned, like some sort of vegetable, some sort of a fruit. And then if you want some granola and nuts or whatever, some sort of fat source, like maybe one of those little cheeses is also a good idea, like the Baby Bells. Those are incredible too. If you want to have those afterwards or in addition to, then that makes for a complete on the go meal. Is it ideal? Is it like picture perfect? Is it textbook? No, but it will check all the boxes of I have my protein, I have my color, and I have some healthy fats and fiber in there as well. So those are my quick little go-to options that I pretty much tell everybody about at some point or another. So feel free to give them a try, see if they work for you, and feel free to experiment. I mean, these are just off the top of my head. These are just what I thought of first, but there are so many more out there. And I guarantee you're probably thinking right now, oh, they didn't even mention this. I use this all the time. Go for it. It doesn't mean that because I didn't mention it that it's off limits. Go for it. If it checks that box, if it has protein, if it follows that zero rule, if it has the micronutrients from fruits and veggies, go for it. All right. But that being said, if you did hear something that you're like, wow, didn't really think about that, and you have somebody in your head that you're like, yeah, I should send this to them because they won't stop bitching and moaning about the fact that they can't find anything healthy on the road, go send this their way. That way they have the good information and you don't have to hear them complain anymore. All right. But before you do that, if you want some free resources when it comes to high protein recipes for when you are at home, or some workouts that you could do when you're traveling or when you're at home, get your butt in the Fit40 family, because every single person who joins gets free workouts and free high protein recipes. And if you want to take it to that next level and you're like, listen, I'm listening to this podcast because I actually want to do something. I want to make a change in my life. I want to start taking steps towards a better lifestyle. Then that's what the Fit40 Kickstart is for. We start up every single month. On the first full week of the month, I take 10 people and I coach them to the best of my ability, give them the whole shebang, everything in the kitchen sink, to try and help them reach their goals. So if you want to be one of those people, that lucky 10 people, then go ahead and apply by clicking that link down below in the description or the show notes, wherever you're watching or listening. And hopefully we get to work together. All right. So that's it for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you next time. But until then, go kick some ass. Later.